Today's passage is Psalm 13. Every now and again in these reflections we have looked at a psalm, and it's often remarkable how these ancient prayers express the very thoughts and feelings that we have today. Psalm 13 is a good example of this, as the psalmist repeatedly cries out in frustration, "How long, O Lord, how long?" This echoes the cry of our hearts as we endure month after month and now year after year of the COVID pandemic, with daily bulletins of the numbers of cases and, horrifyingly, the numbers of deaths. There are now at least numbers of those vaccinated as well, which gives some reassurance, although we know that vaccination isn't a complete protection. How long, O Lord, must we endure this? And perhaps why must we endure this? There may be other experiences in your life, perhaps of other illness or loneliness or depression or some other kind of suffering that makes you cry, "How long must this go on?" And actually, how long can I cope with it? During such times, it feels as if the experience has gone on forever and will continue forever. So the psalmist says to God, "Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" It seems as if the face of God, like the warmth and brightness of the sun, has retreated behind a cloud of suffering, a cloud of unknowing, as an anonymous 14th century mystic called it. We don't know what God is doing and why. We don't know how long our pain will continue. We don't know the extent of our own endurance. We don't know the future. Perhaps it's just as well in some ways that we don't know the future. Imagine if back in March 2020, when this all began for us, that we knew, that we had full knowledge then of what was to happen over the next 18 months. How would we have felt? What would that have done to our mental health? Instead, all the good advice about mental health is that we should try to live in the present, not consumed with regret or guilt or anger about the past, nor paralysed with fear about the future, but to focus on the present moment, which is the only moment we can actually influence. "Do not be anxious," said Jesus. "Let the day's own trouble be sufficient for the day." The mindfulness techniques that many people practice today, a version of an ancient meditation practice, express this formally. I commend mindfulness practice to you as a way of learning to focus on the here and now, and a way of learning to notice and appreciate the small things, the things of beauty and wonder that surround us, but which we so easily overlook in our rush to move to the next moment. At the end of the short psalm, the mood changes as the person praying remembers that their pain and suffering is not the only thing, not the only part of life. There is God, there is love, there is salvation. And so he or she decides to trust in that God. It is a decision, a choice, which all of us can make in the midst of the most trying times. "I trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice. I will sing to the Lord." Regardless of the darkness, or whatever shape it may take for each of us, regardless of the unknown future, we can make that commitment. We can take that step of faith. I will trust in the God of love. And I will take the next step, the step of this moment, one step, now. I don't need to worry about the next one, Because, as the final verse declares, the Lord has dealt bountifully with me. I can trust, I can leave the future to that bountiful God.